Hey guys, welcome to the Harmonix live stream, our first post E3 live stream since we have been on the road showing off our new game Fantasia Music Evolved, which we're really, really excited about. I keep looking at Aaron because he's sitting over there, but you'll see him in a second. We have been out of town for about 8 days now, getting ready to show things off at E3. The reception is really positive, but a lot of people still haven't seen the game itself. Fantasia Music Evolved, the motion music magical extravaganza that we're working on with Disney, bringing Fantasia into the modern day. So we wanted to make sure you guys here, watching the stream here on Twitch, who tune in every Monday to our show, got a chance to check out what we're actually doing, because it's a little crazy. It's a little different than normal. It's a little different than our Rock Band and Dance Central content. We will have some Rock Band and Dance Central content in future shows. We'll be coming back to that. We still love those brands and awesome games and communities. And you can subscribe to our show somewhere above me in the window. I want to give a quick shout out to Jared at Twitch, who I know just pushed the stream. So all of you looking for the next League of Legends stream that you were going to click on, this is what you got today. Check it out. Please be nice in the chat. We only have a few people helping us moderate, and we hope you like the game as it stands. A couple caveats before we start today, because there's been some controversy lately for other games, not ours. On the show floor at E3, many people played it and can testify. We had the game running natively on Xbox Ones. We had to be on Xbox Ones on the floor because we had the camera for the Xbox One, which was awesome. I think we were the only camera game I saw at the show that was running on the floor. We had people play hands-on. It was running at frame rate on the show floor, which we're really excited about. For today's demo, just because you may notice some weirdness and we always want to be really transparent about what is happening. We are currently running on a PC with a Kinect camera plugged into it because we actually don't have an Xbox One kit up here. So I want to always be really transparent with you guys about what we're running on. The frame rate is pretty good. The bit rate, or the sort of the video rate, is a little not as good as our build at E3, actually. It's running at 720. So see some jagged edges around the edge. Our team's making really great stuff. The shots we put out are not bull shots. They are real gameplay footage, and they look great. So definitely check out other people's streams, too. You know, we're running into a little bit of a problem in the industry where we have games that are running at 60 frames a second and 1080p for some of the games that are out there, and YouTube doesn't actually stream at that rate. So I don't know how you'll ever know if a game looks as good on your home system until it comes out. But for today, to be completely transparent, I think we're running at 720 on a PC with a Kinect camera, but it doesn't change the gameplay experience, which is super magical, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to go over to the couch and talk to Aaron. This is where I do my weird walk-off. Other way. You want to snap? All right, 1, 2, 3. Ha! Oh, yeah. That was good. Seamless transition. Look at that. Look at the graphic over your head.
Oh, it's
look
fantastic.
at you, Vanna. Oh. So that is our Fantasia Music Evolved logo there, working with Disney. So we're going to actually talk a little bit about the game ahead of showing the demo.
Just talking. They're not going to see us at all, hardly.
It's all going to be, just go to black. Just black
Sorry,
screen
guys.
talking times. Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Guys, this is Aaron Trites, our manager of community
I'm so
development.
congested.
Yeah, we all feel terrible.
Yeah.
Because we've been working 20-hour days for the past 2 weeks.
Bringing games to people.
Making those games, man.
It was awesome, though. It was fantastic.
Yeah, did you have a good show?
E3 was a really good show. I don't know if it exceeded the level of positive reaction we had in 2009 at E3 when we were showing off the Beatles Rock Band.
Yeah.
But it was definitely that same kind of
felt like that.
Like hugely positive, just like really warm. I think people were really taken with what we showed from Fantasia.
Well, every year we get people who like Harmonix who come and say like, hey, we like your games. I want to see whatever you're making. I don't love dance games, but I want to see Dance Central 3 because I heard it's cool.
Yep.
And I think this year we got those people, and we got people who love Disney, and we also got people who are like hardcore Fantasia fans who came in and they wanted to see how we were doing Fantasia. And that was one of the big questions. So we actually showed you guys last week, or it came out last week, the week before last, the trailer for the game, which is sort of a marketing sizzle piece. There wasn't a lot of really...
a lot of sizzle, no steak.
Sure, we could say that. There wasn't a lot of content in that video.
Sure.
There wasn't a lot of video game stuff, and a lot of you guys who watch the stream and chat with us on Twitter and Facebook don't actually care about being marketed to because you already know. You're smart people who just want to know about the game so you can make a decision for yourself. That's what we're doing today.
Now we're just buttering you guys.
We're just going to show you also are so charming and handsome / beautiful.
Just pretty.
Depending on how you identify.
Pretty.
It's all fine either way. You are all great looking, smart, charismatic. Let's move on. The idea here is that like, people in our community really want to just see the game and make a decision for themselves. And so a lot of people reacted not as well to that trailer, which didn't feel like it was connected to Fantasia, and it didn't feel like it had the music that they expected, for example, and there wasn't gameplay. And since then, everyone was shown the game to themselves, like has actually been, from my opinion, pretty psyched about like the game itself. So we want to make sure you guys get a chance to check that out. So let's talk a little bit about what we did at E3, what we're doing today. At E3, we had a stage presentation that was on Eric Pope on the boards, community manager and producer extraordinaire. So at E3 we had a
professional.
Yeah, well, professional about some things. We had a stage presentation we did every half an hour. We had an audience that came into the theater and checked it out. We'll give you a little bit of that spiel today so that you can kind of get a chance to hear what we were saying about the game.
Ran through a little bit of the history of Fantasia, like from the film, and then kind of like how our involvement took place with Disney.
And then we show a little bit of the shoal, which is our first of the Fantasia realms in the game. And then we would show the press, which is the second, not show the press, although we actually were showing the press, but show the media, the level called the press, which is about a printing press that you bring back to life. And we're actually going to show both those levels today, which is pretty cool. A lot of people haven't seen the press yet because it was mostly a hands-on level and not a filmed level.
I saw it so many times.
Yeah, Aaron has seen it a lot. I've seen the show a lot. Aaron's seen the press a lot.
Still love it, though.
It's great. It's good times. Steampunk robots. Here we go.
Robot torture level.
So it's another way of phrasing what you do in that level. Sure, this is going to be something that Disney's happy about. Yeah.
Spoilers.
So I guess the context of the film. So show of hands. Oh wait, we can't do that because it's the internet. But hopefully a lot of you have seen Fantasia.
I'm still going to do it.
How many of you have seen Fantasia? All of you. Look at everyone's so excited. Fantasia. The original film came out in 1940. It's incredibly old. No one who's over 73 knows how to use Twitch.tv anyway. So no one in the chat. I'm just throwing it out there.
Shots fired.
Yo, old Twitch.tv people, come at me, bros. But like, take a deep breath off your oxygen tank first. The 73-year-old film. It came out in 1940, and I guess what we've been sort of accentuating about that is it's amazing how pervasive a piece of media it is. Like it's still something that we know about today. People have still been watching it or have seen it in their past growing up. Have watched it in states both sober and not sober in a lot of cases. But overall, I guess what we're trying to say is that this was an important film then. It still maintains its place as an important film now, as like sort of an eminent piece of technology and animation and filmmaking. So when Walt set out to make it, Walt Disney, close friend of the studio.
Yeah, we call him Walt.
You know, he's like, we're bros. You know, me and Walt, we're tight. So Walt, it was just off of Snow White, which was a huge commercial success. It was a big animated feature that really made Disney Studios like what it was and sort of established their sort of operating paradigm. And talking to Disney and looking through the archives, it became clear that they really wanted to legitimize, with Fantasia, they wanted to legitimize animation as an art form. They wanted to establish a concert film where they could swap in different pieces of stuff over time and make it basically a film that never stopped running. They'd have newsreels they would change out in those days, and that was the thing. But Walt's idea was sort of to be able to take these episodes that they had created around the idea of Fantasia and to continue to plug new things in. So we thought to ourselves, what would happen if you never stopped doing that? If you never stopped adding new pieces of media, if new music came online or new animation techniques came online? What if Walt had always been subbing in new episodes to Fantasia and the film had always continued to run as it went from projectors in theaters to digital distribution to wider distribution to home theaters and then home entertainment, finally interactive entertainment, which is where we sort of ended up. So that's the imaginary path of today. Because in 1940, the film actually only opened in 12 theaters. It opened in 12 theaters that ran across America because it was so custom and complicated.
That's still crazy to me.
I know, right?
It's 12 theaters.
But it still runs today, right? People still know about it. So in those 12 theaters, they had custom projectors, custom color treatments, and animation techniques.
Over 100 speakers?
Yeah, most importantly, 100 speakers that they called Fantasound, which is sort of this proto surround sound idea where they had, kind of faked surround sound and stereo before that was really a concept that was popularized. So you could feel like you were immersed in the music. And so Walt called that experience an adventure in color, sound, and motion. And that's what we really took to be the heart of this film as we were reading through. With all that Snow White money, he hired armies of transcriptionists who were just following him around, writing everything down. So we've read ream after ream of document from story meetings and animation meetings and art meetings and song meetings and tried to really incorporate what the vision of the game or vision of the movie was into what the game could be today. So you may not see a lot of things that are immediately screaming Fantasia at you in the game as it stands. We want to make sure you understand, like, the game does have the workshop. It has Yen Sid, the Master Sorcerer. It has music from the original movie. We're going to have Night on Bald Mountain alongside Bruno Mars and Queen and other songs. Avicii, Kimbra. That Night on Bald Mountain is going to be in there as our first example of other songs that we hope to announce soon that are also from the original film. We are really trying to use the heritage of what the franchise was and extend it to today. We're not trying to ignore that heritage or leave it behind. And the most important part that Anette will be playing the role of is the way that you actually are brought into the game is that you are the Sorcerer's Apprentice. So the most iconic episode from the film, wearing the red robe and the blue hat, you are actually stepping into the world of Fantasia. And Yen Sid, the Master Sorcerer, the old wizened, bearded creator of Fantasia.
It's Disney spelled backwards.
Truth. If you've never noticed that before, yeah, Yen Sid is that character's name, and it is Disney spelled backwards. He's an analog for Walt's creative impetus in the world. And he brings you in and says, you have musical potential. Every great musician in your world has come through Fantasia and learned the skills of musical magic. And I want to train you to be the next Sorcerer's Apprentice. So you're not playing as Mickey Mouse, you're you. He's talking directly to you in cutscenes. We're extending the fiction of what that is. We're building off of what the Sorcerer's Apprentice was in the movie, because it's probably the most enduring part of that film, just what people think of immediately when they think of Fantasia. So that's where it is. So it's a lot about, you're in the workshop, you're exploring these worlds. And so he says to you as a new Sorcerer's Apprentice, you're going to explore the realms of Fantasia. And if Eric actually wants to pull up the gameplay screen right now.
Chatting with all of our friends in the chat.
That's fine. You can just pop it up in the background. You don't need to make it full screen. But the Fantasia Music Evolved screen, there it is. Look at that. We have 2 levels that we've created so far that from the workshop you load into these levels. And these are called the Realms of Fantasia. They are worlds that Yen Sid has created out of pure music and magic. He has molded everything in it out of magic and music, which I just said in the opposite way. Don't worry about it.
Still works.
It's been 2 weeks.
Still works.
And so Yen Sid says you're going to go into these worlds. They're going to be quiet and sort of docile. And your job as the Sorcerer's Apprentice is to bring the world to life, to find musical interactions and instruments to play with. Everything in the world is sort of an interaction you can make musical. Everything in front of you is sort of an instrument at your feet as a conductor. And you're going to bring it to life. You're going to collect that magic as a progression mechanic and bring it back to the workshop. And then we'll give you some more worlds to explore. So these realms we have today are called the Shoal, which is an underwater realm, sort of a coral reef that you're going to bring to life. And then the Press, which is a industrial printing press that we talked about earlier with, of course, sort of steampunk R2-D2 welding robots that help you out. I think I can say that because Disney owns Lucas, so that's fine.
Well, let's find out.
Well, we'll see if the lawyers send us a notice. We're trying our best. So why don't we bring Annette up here? We're going to shift to the side and let Annette play. We're going to talk over Annette playing, but she's going to drive. Hey, Annette. Welcome to the set. We're going to get out. Oh, look at that. That is a weird shot.
Not awkward at all. Oh,
keep going. Yep, herp, derp, nope. Let me.
Crop you out. I'll
crop me out. Crop me out, bro. Am I cropped out? Am I creeping in?
No,
or am I cropping
you're
out?
full on creeping.
So you can see that Annette, we're going to have Annette picture-in-picture sort of on a transparent background. So she's going to, Annette, if you wave one of your hands, we have her mirrored in the screen. So what Annette is doing is going to be steered on screen in real time, again, with the Kinect. So this little call out here in the main menu is a call out to sort of Stokowski on the platform at the beginning of the movie, tuning the orchestra up. If you actually want to bring the audio up a little bit in the feed, it usually is an orchestra sort of tuning up. Is that what's happening right now?
Tuning up and full on swelling.
Right now it just sounds like noise. Yeah. They tuned up for so long now they're bored and waiting for us.
They're ready. They're ready to rock.
We're trying to make this really you're supposed to feel a little bit like a conductor. It's not a conducting sim, it's not conductor band, but it is it has elements of that. So Annette, why don't you go ahead and boot in the Shoal, and we'll show you the first realm of Fantasia that we have today. Now we're not going to show you everything in the Shoal because 2 reasons. One is that sort of discovering these things and discovery gameplay is half the fun of the game. And also because we want to have some content for next week, so we'll be showing you more next week. But this is the fly-through of the Shoal. Check it out. Beautiful.
Worth reiterating, this comes out in 2014.
Yeah, so actually that's important to know. It's coming out in 2014. So far we've announced Xbox One and Kinect for Xbox 360. We are not exclusive to those platforms necessarily, but those are the ones that we're currently developing for. So if that changes, we'll be the first to let you know, believe you me.
So stick with us as we
with
roll
us.
out more announcements, more worlds.
So as Annette
awesome.
steps from side to side in this world, though, you can see that the camera is sort of following her around, even as she steps out of frame on the shot. And the idea is that she's sort of following, being followed around this panorama. So the world's far wider than your TV, and again, you are you the player are the Sorcerer's Apprentice. So this is very much you controlling the world. That's one of the cool things about motion games that we've done in Harmonix that other people don't do. You don't puppeteer a puppet. You are, you in the world with some impact. So if Anette wants to impact the world, she's going to raise her hand up, and that'll bring up the Muse. Check that out. It's so cool. I almost swore. I'm trying to swear this week. So before you get too excited with that, let's describe what the Muse is, Aaron. So the Muse is a cursor.
Not a band.
Not a band. We don't have, so we have a Muse in Fantasia Music Evolved, but not the band Muse.
Pretty good.
Yes, we have
Pretty
not
good
announced
barb.
any other bands.
Pretty good barb.
Yeah, good joke there, jerk. So the Muse is a three-dimensional cursor, so it actually allows you to reach out and impact the world. You can see as Anette puts her hand forward, it goes further into Z space there, which is a pretty cool technological innovation. It actually makes you feel like the Muse is a physical object in space. Feel like you're connected to the world, reaching through your TV screen into this interactive environment.
And that you can really interact with everything.
Pretty much, like the coral's lighting up.
It's
there's
unbelievably
anemones
thorough.
moving out of the way, and we're still working on a lot of cool interactions and particle effects with this. This is still pretty early. This is like you're saying, we have a long way to go in development. So this being this polished this early, it runs on Xbox One now, which again I want to be clear, we're running on PC today, but it looks even better on Xbox One, believe it or not. So Annette got those seahorses that popped out a second ago. Not much else she can do right now. We kind of keep it easy when we start. So if she bumps into the seahorses with her Muse. You all right? You're not all right? Are you? What's going on?
No, she's fine.
It's not working.
Her seahorse has disappeared.
Can you just not reach them? This has never happened before. Well, why don't we skip over that? We'll come
Exploring
back to
the game in real time.
So Annette can bring some magic in the world using these lightweight instrument interactions. Game development, it's an evolving process, but the most
2014, everybody. 2014.
Harmonix, game evolved. The best way to bring more magic in the world, and again, Jensen would tell you this in the onboarding, is to actually play songs. So you can see that tear in the world there. When it reaches out and reaches her other hand up, it sort of parts the curtain. She'll zoom in, whoa, to the starfield. So the starfield, so this is performance gameplay now. The general thing is discovery gameplay, this idea of exploring these realms. And inside that are embedded songs that we call performance gameplay. And performance gameplay is inspired by Mickey Mouse on the cliff inside the Sorcerer's Apprentice. So he falls asleep, and in his dream, he is on this cliff conducting the heavens and the seas, bringing the world to life, inspiring the world to bend to his whim, both the music and the magic and the animation.
Spoilers for Fantasia.
I know, if you haven't seen Fantasia, you've had 73 years, get around to it. And so that's where this gameplay comes from now. It's somewhat, people have said, is it a dancing game, is it a conducting game? I would say that the gameplay for the motion, it's motion and music, and it falls sort of in three categories. It has, I guess I can just come join you. Why did the screen just go black? Did
Probably
you just
because you
unplug something
walked
or
on screen.
Popes?
Huh?
But it died on our PC screen too.
Is it loading?
No.
Let's shut it down.
Let's try.
Wow.
Hey, put up a graphic. I'll sit back down in my seat
right.
while Annette reboots this.
Wow.
So, that is not appropriate. So we're gonna reboot the PC real fast because we were having
You want to do some questions?
weird build issues. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just describe that last thing I was gonna say, which is that the gameplay, if you haven't seen it yet, you'll see it in a minute. Come on in, Aaron. Come sit down at your desk. Is somewhere between conducting, dancing, a little bit of like magical spell casting and sorcery. So we're pretty psyched about that. But I guess we are. Is the TV on? Yeah, turn that whole thing. Just power cycle the whole thing.
We're also having an electrical storm in Massachusetts.
That's true.
Right
We're
now.
in the middle of like an incredibly dangerous thunderstorm that we are doing the stream, and there's Pope's butt. Are there questions you've been pulling, or is it just the chat in real time?
Christine is going to give me them.
So what, Annette? Do you want to read some questions?
Only the best questions.
Do you see where they are on the screen in
Just
front
your
of you?
absolute favorites.
So guys, if you have questions, ask them in the chat. Christine is at home keeping track of that stuff, and she's throwing us some stuff over that wire. Any thoughts on that? All right, get out of the way. Let Pope just do his job then.
Good cameo, Pope.
Come around, Annette.
I did it.
Come around Joe's side. Hey guys, live stream, live development, video
Anything
games,
can
gameplay,
happen.
anything can happen.
Games. Wow, my voice is booming.
Voice of God, Pope.
Hot mic, hot mic.
All right, you want to hear some questions?
Yeah, give me a question
Yes,
or two,
please.
even though we haven't really done the demo yet at all.
H-Bomb D-Bag wants to know, will classic Disney songs be featured in the game?
Well, hopefully you were listening to our speech earlier, but yeah. You mean classic like Disney, say like Little Mermaid or things like that, like Sleeping Beauty songs. Not Sleeping Beauty.
Kissed a girl.
Kissed a Girl.
That's really what he's asking.
Will those
I
be
can
in the
tell.
game? That's a great question. I think right now we see Fantasia as being the Fantasia verse instead of the other Disney movies. But like for example, the Shoal, which we're in the middle of showing you, is not a Under the Sea Little Mermaid level. But will we have call-outs to those movies that are sort of part of the Disney canon? We might. I think we're still interested in seeing how development goes and what Disney wants to throw our way in terms of music.
If you want to hear the Circle of Life, though,
Yeah.
you should take a ride with John Drake anytime he's in your town.
Yeah.
He has a nonstop Disney playlist on tap at all times.
I do. I have a good playlist. I also have a great remix playlist. I have
that's right.
a song. I have the Circle of Life remixed with Lil Wayne on my iPod. It's
It
pretty
was
good.
really good.
So next question, Pope.
Next question. Can we? Oh, this is Christine asking me a question.
No, that's weird.
Can we
Good
talk about
question.
rejected subtitles?
We could, but let's not. Instead, why would we proactively bring that up on the stream? Fantasia. So Music Evolved really is the idea of distinguishing it from the movie. We don't want it to be confused with Fantasia, the DVD on the box on the shelves. But
Moving on.
yeah, move on. That's a
How
terrible.
many
Thanks,
songs are we
Christine.
shipping with?
There'll be over 25 songs on the disc. Thank you for asking that question, Eric. Slash whoever from the chat asked it. Over 25 songs on the disc. What you'll see in a second is actually that each song has a ton of remix potential. So they'll be really replayable. So it's a few less than you may be used to if you're a Harmonix hardcore fan and heard 80 plus songs on Rock Band. But the songs are not so much one-offs as they are. They're not sort of consumables. They're very much songs you're going to want to play over and over
Well,
again.
and that level of replayability is definitely there because each song has 3 unique mixes.
Yeah.
And then varying levels of customization within those mixes.
Yep.
So I wouldn't say, someone could say, but I wouldn't
One
say.
might say.
That there's as many as 75 different songs.
One
One could say that. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm just selecting on the camera while we're sitting here because I can.
Loads
So-
of variation, though. Like
there-
the
one more
25
question maybe
songs
before we're
doesn't
booting
feel
up?
like 25
Here's a good
songs.
one. Will the game have DLC, downloadable content?
So right now the plan.
DLC?
I'm not familiar with downloadable
What
content. Is that a
is
thing that we could
that?
do for a game with music in it? So right now our plan is coming together for downloadable content. We don't really have anything that we have firmly scripted out, but I think the general idea is that we're going to have a great disc that's not going to be held back by the idea of holding back content to do DLC, but that we are going to probably have DLC afterwards because it's a Harmonix game, and if you want to customize your track list or have extra mixes, we'll go down that path. So we'll see shortly. Hey, but we're back. Look, we're back in the world. That was not bad at all. So Anette is going to come in here now, and unless she's the reason that things are breaking, this should all be fine. There she is. So again, it's now we're back in the demo. So we'll do more questions later. Keep asking your questions in the chat. Christine and Eric are going to grab them and read them out later. This game, again, this is the performance stuff inside of Discovery. So now we're going to show you what it is like to play a song. Now this is about 3 hours into gameplay. So this is not the way you start the game. You're going to learn these skills and sort of evolve them in real time. But you all look like a charming, handsome audience, so we're just going to throw this stuff at
Got
you.
a lot of faith in you.
If you have a lot of faith, you'll understand what's going on. And Annette's going to press play. Let's do this. There you go. So she'll be gesturing along. Now this game is about expression. It's not a music simulation game, it's a music expression game or music creation game. So Annette can use either hand to swipe these cues, and we're going to play Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen and push it into some crazy extreme places. It's working, video games, we did it.
Pope. Now, I've never heard this song before.
Ugh.
What is this song?
This is a song by current pop sensation Queen.
Okay.
So this is her first mixed choice moment. So in addition to being able to express herself in the game by gesturing the way she wants, Annette can also, even like this sort of Z push and trace gesture where she can push in and then follow that around. Annette can also customize the mix by choosing between the pink original mix, the green hard rock 80s hair ballad remix, and the blue orchestra classical orchestration. So Annette can change the mix in real material ways with just one swipe of those mixed choice moments. We're going to see another one in a second here. We'll hear what it sounds like when she picks not pink and pushes it to a new direction. Let's check it out.
One of my favorite bits is that the gestures are also responsive to your movements, so that there's like a tiny level of visual customization there, where those gestures are all velocity sensitive. So the more expressive she is, the more particle effect there is.
If you can watch like the foreground, like the front plane of particles is sort of following Annette's hands around, while the background sort of floats off the cues. So there's a lot of this idea of what you do in the room should be what you see on screen, which is pretty awesome. Annette has now added to this, so she's now added a blue stem, which is one of the classical orchestrations. You can hear some strings in the background. She has Freddie Mercury and the drums from the original master, and then heavy metal bass sort of thumping along, which is pretty awesome.
Just wait till the drums kick in.
Oh, the drums are so good. We'll get to that in a minute. But I guess the point here is that the gameplay that you were talking about, the sort of those cues and arrows on screen, is also custom to the path that you go down. So for people familiar with Guitar Hero or Rock Band, the idea of optimal pathing and like how you nail all these cues and things like that. There's a lot of gameplay variety for score and et cetera in alongside. The green path is different than the blue path is different than the pink path. So which way you go is going to be up to you. So hey, we've reached our first music manipulator where Nette's going to actually get to transform the music in real time. So this prism holds a bunch of swirling sort of atomic music, at like the music and magic at the atomic level. And Annette's job is to get every edge of this cube lit up before this section of the song is over. And she does what she just did, yes. Goes into a peak state, and then she'll be able to access the energy inside, which lets her transform the music. This is called the Effect Sculptor. This is one of our many manipulators in the game, and this is going to let her stretch her hands to add wah guitar and twist them to add echo. Let's hear what it sounds like. Rock it. Stand up straight, fellas. So you can hear Annette's not playing along with the music, she's actually playing with the music itself, which is pretty cool. And different for Harmonix. This is a pretty good effect sculptor you just did.
That note's definitely worth reiterating that most of our games previously had just been music simulation, like not actual creation, where there was a very specific path and you didn't have a lot of creative control over what happened or when it happened.
Right, and we're trying to set up sort of goalposts to keep you in the world of it always feeling and sounding fun and awesome, while also giving you moments to express yourself, like we've done before with freestyle and drum solos and things like that, where it's just this time around the creativity is so much more musical and powerful because it's very much in this realm of creation.
Yeah,
here we go.
We did it.
I didn't know we could make Queen more headbangy, but we did.
This is really what the song was missing.
Yep. Double kick pedal, running 30-second notes. All right, so we've reached our second musical manipulator here. And this pyramid prism inside of it has what we call the sound sketcher, where Annette can actually draw a new guitar solo over Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody and then lock that loop in and it'll continue to play for the next section of the song. So check out what that sounds like right here. Do it! It's a pretty good one, actually.
That's actually really good.
See in the upper left-hand corner, it has a recorded playback, so Annette puts her hands down and plays back that loop. So it counts down. It's a great solo.
And then this is going to continue to loop through the song in the back.
Yeah, you can see the little prism in the bottom left-hand corner actually shows your solo still playing. The most headbangy part. You've gone super hard green on this one. See the little hopper at the bottom showing us where we've gone in the song, and that has now picked all 4 green stems. We're hearing sort of the extreme
doing it right.
hard rock mix, the most metal mix that we could have for this track. Let's see where she goes here at the outro.
Mixing it up. Right at the end.
And when you miss a cue, it ducks the audio.
Did you just never hear her miss a note
Never
on
heard her miss a
stage?
note before.
Wow.
People be asking, like, why is there no negative feedback? I'm like, because Annette never makes mistakes.
That's true. In the interest of accessibility, there's also no fail in the demo as we're showing it now.
Right.
You can do well or very well.
Yes. Well, and that's part of the game, right? The idea is if you succeed, 420, LOL. If you succeed, you should have more agency, more creative control. So all that magic Annette threw into that song has now followed her back in the world, and it's forming what we call a transformation key. It's this little portal of energy swirling around. And we talked about earlier. Do you want to see if you can get the seahorses to work now? We've rebooted. I don't know what they were. Yeah, there they are. So these lightweight instruments that you can mess with and find in the world right away. And like there's these seahorses that are different colors, and they sort of form a little seahorse carousel, like music box style that you might find inside of a music box in the ocean or something, I don't know. And if Annette spins them up, they get excited and they shoot off energy. Those little prisms are magical energy you can collect throughout the game. And so you see that little progress bar at the top of the screen that Annette was just cursing over. That is showing you how much stuff you can find in each level. So They're these lightweight instruments that are just sort of fun to bump into. They don't transform the world in big ways. The songs bring a lot of magical energy out and form those transformation keys, which Anette, if it grabs that, she can make the world sort of explode with energy. Which is awesome. This is our friend the turtle. He actually has a coral reef on his back, and he brings in the the guitar solo from Bohemian Rhapsody is his entrance music, like he's a professional turtle wrestler.
He is.
And also the piano part from Bohemian Rhapsody then loops along with the background music. So if Anette spins him around, maybe, you can see one more of those kind of cool, lightweight instrument interactions where you're finding kind of fun little musical things. So if you just looked at this and didn't do anything, you might not know there's anything to find here. They might not know there's magic to collect. You might never see this in the game if you didn't look hard. But if you're always listening, looking past all the fish swimming by, you can reach out and actually play with the turtle's calliope on his back. That coral reef is actually a calliope. And as you find the little melody there that you can play, you collect some more magic. That's pretty fun. That's always there to solo with. So again, both of these things are sort of in the world of like, you know, click on a thing and it makes a noise. That's fun, like soundboard style interactions. And they always sound good. They always sound musical. They always match with the background music in the plane. But on the back of the turtle, which is the last thing we're going to show today in the shoal, and then we'll zoom into the other level, you can actually record and express yourself even in this discovery realm as you bring it to life. So we are in what we call the Jazz Clams. Hashtag Jazz Clams if you're on Twitter.
Trending worldwide.
Trend worldwide with Jazz Clams, guys. I'm watching Harmonix on twitch.tv/HarmonixMusic, hashtag Jazz Clams. So this is an instrument that we're actually going to teach Anette step by step as she cursors over each section of the clams. She learns that these are, this is actually a jazz drum set. And this is sort of playing a little like Bohemian Rhapsody-ish jazz arrangement. So this is going to get these last four here. And now we put her in the record and play state. So we have like a learn and then a record and play state. So Anette, you now look in the upper left-hand corner, is playing with these clams in the record state. She puts her hand down, take her last two bars, sort of make a cool loop out of it. That's pretty good, but Anette may want to get really detailed with it. She might want to just play just some ride cymbal. So cool jazz. Pretty good ones, like a little like West Coast 50s jazz. But knowing most of the employees we've seen playtest this, they want to make all the clams play together in a crazy clam, Buddy Rich drum solo. I almost said Buddy Guy, that would have been incorrect.
Employees or children?
Our employees are children. Oh, that's pretty good. Like 3 crashes in a row there. So Anette can do this as many times as she wants, but if she likes it, she can zoom out, and the clams are going to follow her back in the world, playing their little solo. Let's hear how it sounds. And then from time to time, those clams are going to come back with that solo when it's appropriate to play that little 2-bar drum fill as a turnaround. They're sitting right there in the front, just waiting. And so the idea is Annette's already collected some magic. There they are. I'm going to town. Look away for 1 second. Those clams are shy.
Sneaky.
If you take a step all the way to the right, we're not actually going to do this, but so next week we're going to try to show you this right half of the scene. In that back right corner, we have Some Nights by Fun, which is the other song we'd play in this level, and but maybe we'll save that. We'll play that next week.
Sure.
Man, those jazz clams just going to town. Hashtag Jazz Clams. So what you've seen now is you've seen a performance song, you've seen the magic that comes out of that, you've seen Anette be able to remix that music, you've seen some lightweight instruments you can just kind of bump into with your Muse, you've seen some slightly more intricate instruments which you can record and play back loops with. There they go. And the whole idea here is that these worlds, these realms of Fantasia are both treasure chests full of things to unlock and bring back to, again, sit in the workshop and tie it back to Fantasia, but also they are sort of documents of what you've created and recorded in the worlds along your path.
They are also beautiful.
Yeah, they
in
look
a way
great,
that
right?
hasn't gotten anywhere near enough recognition that our art team, who has been, slaving away on dingy rock clubs and facial animations for the same characters for the last 3, 4, 5 years, for them to be able to stretch some different creative muscles, literally muscles.
Musical muscles on the back of the U are fired for that joke.
That they're able to,
Terrible
branch out and work on some awesome new level creation like this is really impressive.
So why don't we pause out here. Are you gonna quit or are you gonna reboot? I'm gonna try quitting and see if it works. Sometimes quitting takes a little bit while, so we can talk for a minute in the meantime. So we're gonna show you the press now, which is the other level. Whoa, hey. We're in the set. Look at that.
Just strutting.
So we're going to switch over to the press and show you a level that not many people have seen, especially on video. It was one of the first levels we showed in sort of B-roll. But the game, hopefully you feel like the game is good with someone on screen playing it. Sort of good to know. Get out of here. So we're going to boot up the... Oh, there you can hear the orchestra tuning up. Sort of calling out that classical feel. So go ahead and boot in the press, Annette. Why don't you go crazy? The idea here is you can always come back to these worlds, and just like Walt was trying to evolve animation and music and people in the middle of the music, our hope is that you feel like you're in the middle of these scenes, and we've evolved gameplay to be, especially motion gameplay, to feel like it's really like a one-on-one connection, low latency, high fidelity tracking with the camera, cool world. This world is super dark compared to the other world, which is very sort of bright and airy. To start, we're going to bring it to life. So this world's a little bit more puzzly than the other realm is. This is the press. It's a broken down printing press. Annette can step side to side and see sort of the edges of the world. It's very dark. There's not much Annette can do. She can reach out. She can maybe bump into some newspapers, maybe that are hanging out there, but she can't really get too interactive. See a lot more particle effects. But there's this robot just hanging out there, and he's like, what are we doing? Why are we not helping this come back to life?
Christine
in the back,
calls him the foreman.
The foreman, George the foreman?
George.
He's the robot foreman. In the background, you see there's a blue machine that is literally on fire at some point. And you want to make sure that you can fix that so you can get this press booted up, bring it to life. It's sort of nighttime. And so the first thing you do is you can get that foreman and you say, hey, it's a blue machine. Maybe I should see at this color wheel.
Spin
is
it
it
to
red?
blue.
Should
Not
it be red?
red.
No, he shakes his head
Oh,
no.
you idiot, Annette.
It resets. But if you go to blue, he says, yeah, let's do this.
Oh, you did it.
He brings his robot compatriots out. They are sort of like these little crazy R2-D2 steampunk welding robots, and they fix that machine musically. So Annette now collects that little magic that popped out there. That machine's starting to crank. You see the pistons behind it, pulsing to life, getting excited, and that progress bar is filling up. And there needs to be more to do here. So what can we do? Annette, what do we do in Fantasia when we don't know what to do next, Aaron?
You play songs.
We play a song in performance. Oh, but Annette is showing you how the Muse is a physical object in space. In addition to having these particle effects, you can knock these robots over.
Straight up wreck those robots.
And when they write themselves, they play a little sample, which is fun.
They're gonna get it later.
Yeah, we'll put the robots through their paces. They're trying to escape. There's one running around the top of the screen from the wrath of Annette's Muse.
Get tracked.
Nice. Look at him go. All right, so why don't we play Locked Out of Heaven? So that's going to zoom in here. And again, this Locked Out of Heaven version that you get to in the game, you're going to conduct dance, spellcast your way through it as you perform it. Go ahead, just boot into it. It's going to have 3 remixes. One is the original pink mix. One is a green mix, which is our favorite, which is sort of a reggae ska mix.
So good.
It starts ska and becomes reggae in the bridge.
It
And the last
sounds
one
like
is
a Police B-side.
the blue electro keyboard mix. So if you don't love Bruno Mars, which you should, because Bruno Mars is great, hardest working man in
Maybe you'll like
showbiz.
the ska Bruno
Yeah, maybe you like
Mars.
ska Bruno Mars. So let's stay on pink just to give you a sense of the song first, but it has a lot of changes, so let's see where she goes with it now. Yeah! Pick it up, pick it up,
I
pick it up!
didn't notice until probably the second day of E3 that we have like a little ska, like a suit and tie and pork pie hat icon.
And we're trying to show you in those
And a goody
icons
mix.
which instrument you're changing. And that's also the instrument you're playing in the next section, right? So you're playing the electronic drum kit now. Right, I'll get to that. So the bars at the bottom show you which of the 4 proportional stems you selected. So we're going to highlight one of those and say, hey, you're about to change this stem. It's going to be green, blue, or pink, and you pick green in this case. So we sort of show you like the mix history, right? That's a good name. We call it the mix history. We don't have a name for it yet. Suggest names for that. We call it the stem hopper for a while.
Hopper.
So Annette's got another music manipulator here, and I believe this one is the drum beat.
The beat chopper.
Is this the beat chopper? This is our 3rd manipulator called beat chopper. So Annette puts her hand up. She can grab each of the samples from this drum part. If she puts her hand up closer to the screen, and actually will play a shorter sample.
I like that.
And that 2-bar beat's going to keep playing over the next section of the song. That's a pretty funky beat, actually. Oh man, it's like quiet dub.
I love Bruno Mars.
What?
I love Bruno Mars.
Yeah. I.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see Annette now has 50-50 of the blue and green stems. We try to keep the original vocal in there a lot to give you guidance, but this song also has a really fun authoring. It's a slightly more advanced authoring than Bohemian, which is pretty easy. Oh man, it's the breakdown.
Do you want to talk at all about where these remixes come from?
Sure, why not, right? we have a couple people in-house, even people on other teams that are not working on Fantasia. We have 100 people working on Fantasia, so there's not that many of those. And they're making really fun remixes for a lot of these songs, especially in their sort of specialty area. We also have some outsource, like really experienced remixers making cool paths, and they all have to work together, right? You have to be able to merge the original with new remixes with, so we have to have a ska mix that works with a electro house mix, which also works with the original master in any combinations. There's a lot of nuance there. So this is actually going to be a great little melody sample on the sound sketcher. It's a good one. He's playing that back. So we have sort of like a reggae version of the song with a cool electro drum beat under it, and Annette's keyboard solo. And I've seen her play these songs hundreds of times. They're always a little different, right? Which is pretty awesome. But Annette's mostly been playing the show, so I'm interested to see her play this song. That's why she looks a little hesitant. Sight reading. The game's gonna have leaderboards. We're also gonna have 2-player local multiplayer, so you'll be able to play some of this stuff. Oh yeah, there it is. Nope. Yep. Some tricky authoring there.
Oh, is it the blue mix that ends this song with a heart? Or is that
yes,
is that
I think so. Well, we'll see. As long as we get the cool, like, xylophone. Oh!
Pope,
and the game crashed.
Wow.
So that's a good way to end this.
2014?
Yeah, 2014. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So we've been on the road with this game for like 2 weeks, and I've never seen it crash to a black screen. Needless to say, I've never seen it do it twice.
That's a first for you.
If I knew that this was going to happen, we wouldn't have done it. So believe me that we are surprised, and we're just carrying it off with our typical charm and aplomb. I want some plums. We should get some plums, man. Plums are delicious.
Plum stream.
Plum stream next week. Are plums in season?
Sure.
We'll get more questions. Yeah. So in general, just to summarize what you saw today, a little bit of the show, a little bit of the press. We'll show more of that next week. I think next week we're going to run on the Xbox One build we had at E3 because though we assumed that this PC build would be more stable, it appears that is not the case. And we'll show you some other songs. So next week maybe we'll show Fun Some Nights, maybe Avicii's Levels or Kimbra. Settle down.
A little bit more discovery in the press. There's
definitely
really cool
some of the other interactions and sort of what happens to those robots after that.
Oh man.
Because it's pretty great.
I can't wait.
So hopefully you can tune back in next Monday at 6 o'clock. We'll have more of that here on the stream, which is pretty exciting. Subscribe and follow us on Twitter. We're at Harmonix on Twitter. Aaron and I are also on Twitter. He's at HMX Henry and I'm at John T. Drake. So you can follow
Fantasia
us.
Game is the most important thing.
That's true.
Follow that.
Follow at Fantasia Game if you like what you see. The idea behind the game is that we're going to let you just discover and explore these worlds, transform the music that you love, and perform really cool motion gameplay that lets you feel like you're actually in control of the music. Like it's not just that you were sitting back and playing the path that is the only path you can play. It's that your choices matter for score, your choices matter for what it sounds and looks like, and then hopefully you'll be able to actually share that out with friends. And again, 2-player local multiplayer, we're going to have that as well, along with a lot of other great stuff in 2014 on Xbox One and Xbox 360 with Kinect. So that's the spiel for today. We'll be back next week with even more stuff. But let's take some questions from the chat. So Eric's going to read us some questions. If you have questions, get in that twitch.tv/Harmonix Music chat. Let us know. Please be nice. We're really excited about this game. We've been working on it for 2.5 years. We have 100 people working on it right now. We hope you like it. Eric, what do you have for me off camera? Yeah. What's up, Big Bopper?
So, Toy Machine wants to know, what's the process of licensing music from the classical, Baroque, Romantic era?
Of course, that's an Elliot question.
Hey, Elliot.
All the Baroque music.
So I'll Baroque his nose when I punched him.
Yeah, you did it.
There
you
it
struggled
is.
a little bit, but you found it at the end.
I found it. I was going to say Baroquean, and it doesn't matter. The answer to your question is we are doing some, not to scandalize people, we maybe do some re-records for classical music in the game, but a lot of those things are actually available for us to grab, and some of them have particular mixes that we want to go after. So it's a little different than the original sort of pop and contemporary mixes that we go after.
Because you can't really get original masters for Mussorgsky's Night on Bald Mountain.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But we're going to get time travel working and record it.
Someday.
Eric Brochus is going back in town.
There's some really cool stuff coming later.
Yeah, so we'll talk more about that when we have more to talk about. Right now, we've done some recordings already that we can't talk about in detail, but they're awesome. They sound great. We're going to try to get some gameplay out there next time before you guys get a chance to get your hands on the game. So And maybe we'll show it here first on the stream. We'll actually see about that. What else you got for me, Pope?
Will there be differences between the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One versions?
Well, God.
Question via Kittler.
So will there be differences? Of course, because otherwise we wouldn't be making them on 2 platforms. I would say there are probably fewer differences than in like big sweeping ways than you might be asking about. Like for me, it's probably mostly like higher fidelity camera, first-party features like sharing and streaming that we're going to want to support in really great ways. Maybe friends list cross-compatibility and things like that.
I bet the cases are going to look different.
Yeah, I bet the boxes will have different art on them in terms of like the stripe and stuff. But moreover, I think that the idea of what's going to be different about them is just like the Kinect and Xbox One version will be a higher fidelity, better frame rate, better looking and sounding game, because that's what a more powerful box gets us. But we're not going to gimp the version on 360. Like, I actually think that's going to be a really strong game for us. If you're not moving over to Xbox One and you have a 360 with Kinect, the game you're going to play there is not going to be feature limited and constrained. We're not going to have less levels. At least that's not the plan right now. I mean, we have a long way to go in development. We'll see as new features come online for the Xbox One that might change. But right now we're planning on making sure that we can make all that happen. And we're already on 360 with Kinect with the best motion library.
We've got a lot of experience.
Like, Dance Central basically puts every other game to shame when it comes to motion detection.
Highest 3 rated games?
1, Dance Central 3. 2, Dance Central 2. 3, Dance Central 1. We know how to make Kinect games, so stay tuned. And right now we're showing you the Kinect motion sensor. It's clearly working pretty well until the entire PC it's running on shuts down, which is not the Kinect's fault, I don't think. We'll see. Next question, Pope.
Yes. Are there multiple difficulties in Fantasia Music Evolved?
Well, I really can't handle that. In fact, the thing you saw today, like part of the difficulty path that we've talked about is that which path you pick and how you choose the gameplay paths you pick is going to determine how many notes are on screen, for example. So the difficulty is a little dynamic in that way. Like you may want to play the pink mix, it may be easier. You kind of explore and find that out. And again, we're not talking about it being a game where you can fail out. So it's mostly about like if you want the best streak, if you want the most notes, the difficulty may scale based on what mixes you choose. Yeah. We are looking into having sort of an easy mode in the game. If you're not a great motion gamer, we want to make sure you have a good experience and still feel like you can explore the music. But I think there's going to be, currently the plan is, and this could change because we're very early in development, currently the plan is there's sort of one difficulty level, and then you can select within that for the different mixes you can play, and then maybe a sort of easy and or party mode for people who are not already versed in the game.
Yeah, what we were telling people at E3 is that in this build, some songs are just inherently more difficult than other songs. Like Bohemian Rhapsody is just like a bit more laid back than like Avicii's level.
And you'll see that really distinctly next week if we play Fun and Avicii.
Yeah, Kimber starts really slow, and Avicii is like super.
One of the guys that came out who did one of the remixes for Fun and came and saw the game at E3 was saying, hey, this looks like, I want to see more stuff and more gameplay. And we're like, well, we're probably going to redo all this authoring at some point. Hopefully no one from the authoring team is watching and is disheartened by that. But we're probably going to redo that authoring because I think the idea now is we really want to set up a loop for new players who are getting their hands on it for the first time in this very abstract game. Like, I want to have a good experience for the first 5 minutes. So how do I make sure I'm learning Fun in real time versus the final shipping game? That song might be more difficult. It may not appear in the shoal. So this is very much like a little bit of proof of concept stuff. And then, Avicii is just like crazy cues all the time. It's very intense. So more questions, maybe.
Jared Ray from Twitch. There's no echo.
Guy.
Jared.
Drink a break.
Wow.
You guys want it.
No, this is the worst.
Joe Kelly on the boards is yelling so loud you can actually hear him in the microphone, which is my favorite part.
Jared Ray
Jared
from
wanna know?
Twitch TV wants to know, what is John Drake's favorite Disney song?
My existing Disney song, my favorite existing Disney song is probably A Whole New World.
Wow.
Do you know about secret unreleased Disney songs?
Or imaginary Disney
You
songs?
phrased it like that. Why do
Well, all the songs that we're working on, Eric, since you asked that question like a jerk, all the songs we're working on are now going to be kind of made into songs that fit in the world of Disney. While they're not Disney songs themselves, they're part of Fantasia, and you can make that mix your own. In Fantasia Music Evolved 2014, PR boom. Next question.
Mic drop.
Okay, let's see. Christine has a whole caveat here.
Okay.
You're
You're going to read the question? You're going to read the whole thing out loud?
The
told me
release
not
time
to.
frame, 2014.
Release time frame, 2014. You can kill the echo.
It's a year. 2014 is a calendar
Somewhere
year.
within that year.
Yeah, we don't know. If we knew, we would tell you.
One of those quarters.
We're actually not even sure what part of the year. I mean, our desire is to get it out as soon as we can to people who love motion games and music games. Obviously, we're going to be showing it off a lot, but I think the question there is mostly like, when is it going to be the game you deserve? And I think we're going to wait and make sure it's as polished as it can be. What you saw today is pretty alpha-ish. Like it's not even, it's polished and stable, but it's not where we hope the final game ends up. So stay tuned. We'll announce our release date as soon as we have one. We're not trying to dodge you. We just don't know the answer to that question.
Will there be Disney songs in the soundtrack?
I think we already answered that question.
Repeat question.
So asked and answered. Objection.
Johnny Two Balls really wants to know.
Johnny Two Balls?
I'm hoping it's Johnny Vignacchi.
Am I logged in downstairs?
That should just be Johnny then. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think that's not a different than normal thing.
No.
It should just be a Johnny.
So yeah, it's really gotta like my nickname on the streets is not like like
Johnny Two Ears.
Johnny who wears shirts.
Yeah, Johnny wears a shirt.
It's not a distinction.
That could be
that
anybody.
you're drawing about
Could
the
be
person.
anything.
Yeah, Johnny with the hair. Although that could be good, you never know. And so anyway, again, like iconic Disney songs from other Disney animated classics. We don't have anything to announce yet. I think the current philosophy is that we're going to focus more on the contemporary, like sort of classic music in the world of music as a canon outside of Disney, which is to say classical music, remixes that push into classical and jazz, and then classic rock, contemporary pop along that
But
spectrum.
it's not going to be a Disney's greatest hits jukebox.
But nothing would preclude us from, if we had the audio, and that's not something we should presume. But if we had access to that audio, that we wouldn't work in some remixes down the road or some DLC. So who knows? Well, stay tuned. We haven't announced our full soundtrack yet. More information than you needed. The answer is I don't know. Stay tuned. But maybe that's a little bit of
2014.
what we're thinking behind
The
it.
answer is 2014.
Do you have other questions, Pope, in the stream? We'll just filibuster this all night. Let's do this.
Is
Keep
it more
asking questions.
difficult to license songs because of all the remixing?
It is. Thank you for noticing. We've been
Munchie
working out.
asked that.
Who asked?
Munchie.
Munchie.
Munchie's good people.
Munchie, thank you for asking that question. I think the answer is it is more difficult, but we've been really surprised at how receptive people have been to letting fans be a part of it. A lot of musicians that we've been on the road showing the game to love Fantasia. Like they have a lot of sort of loyalty. It's one of the things that sort of felt musical in their childhood as a piece of media they interacted with. And so I think the idea here is that we want to give your fans, put your fans at the moment of musical creation. So like the inspiration a composer feels when he decides to have the melody on this instrument, or a remix artist feels when he wants to have the drop here, and give them control over that music that they already feel an affiliation with, to make it an even more more pure musical interaction. And all that's resonated really well, especially in the modern day where everyone has GarageBand on their computer. This idea of transforming music and reinterpreting it as a way to pay homage, just as we're reinterpreting Fantasia the film as a way to pay homage to it. I think it's been pretty powerful. So,
can I say that there have been artists that have not been in Rock Band or Dance Central that have been very receptive to the idea of Fantasia Music Evolved?
yeah.
Okay, I just said it.
You already said it before you finished
Yeah.
asking the question.
Oh yeah. I
Like,
just
were you
wanted to get
asking if you're
permission.
capable of saying it? Because
I wasn't sure.
I didn't know if you could say it until you were
I'm
done, but
very
you definitely
congested.
can say it.
I'm very congested, and I
Should
didn't
you
know
say
until
it?
I finished it.
Who knows? What's up, Pope? Anything else good? People just yelling at each other at this point. Has it just
Is
evolved into a
Harmonix
shouting
working
match?
on any other titles while we're working on this? Twimini asks.
Twimini, I love Twimini. We are working on multiple new games right now. Not all of them are games you've ever thought of or heard of before. Some of them are new IP. So we're working on a couple new games. The studio, I think, is currently in, I'm trying to define this in a smart way, active development with like
At least
full,
13.
with like teams, substantial teams
games.
working in real time on 3 full games, I would say. And we're in some amount of pre-production in terms of like ideation and thought about between like 4 and 5 games, if you include those 3. Like, it's a lot. We have a lot of games in the works, and a lot of them are new IP. I mean, this is a new IP. It's obviously based on an established IP, but it's
Disclaimer: We
new
are
for
not
us.
in active development on a Rock Band or Dance Central.
No,
sequel.
which we've said before, right? We are not currently actively making inside the studio a in production on a Rock Band or Dance Central title.
Still supporting the stores, still supporting the leaderboards, servers, all
And the
that good
communities.
stuff. If you still love it, you can still play.
We still play them on the streams here. We still come here every couple weeks to talk about Harmonix. Every Monday, actually, at 6 to talk about a Harmonix title with some content. So keep tuning in every day.
I got tons of codes to give away.
Every
too.
Monday at 6 o'clock to get some free codes, see some Rock Band or Dance Central. But yeah, a lot of new games. We're working on a lot of new games. It's actually a really great time to be an independent developer with the console generation turning over. And some of them are for new platforms and different platforms. Get excited. It's going to be awesome. I have no voice. What's up, Pope?
Looks like they're winding down.
Oh,
I feel like we should
jeez.
look off in a direction when you talk.
Yeah,
Like a
kind of
smoke
glancing
detector.
up.
Pope.
Hey guys, I'm up in the
Giant voice of Pope.
rafters.
Pope detector.
Just hanging and dangling. Hanging
oh.
and dangling.
Don't you
Johnny
can't,
Two
Johnny
Balls.
Two.
can't say that on the stream.
So, Harmonix has been hard at work for a long time. We hope you guys like this game. It's really different, which is really scary, right? It's hard for us to bring a new thing out and say, hey, this is a totally new IP, which gamers always say they want. It's totally creative and not just another next-gen shooter that's in space or in the desert or against some population that's kind of discriminated
not
against.
just another reiteration of an
Not just a
established
sequel.
Harmonix IP.
Yeah, it's not even just another Harmonix sequel. We want to bring you a new thing, like we did once upon a time with Guitar Hero and Rock Band and Dance Central. Like, new stuff is great. It allows us to build these franchises that you guys can get into. And what we've shown today is just sort of just the tip of the iceberg. We're not even going crazy and showing you all the stuff in these levels, let alone in the game. Like, we hope to show you soon, cutscenes from the game, models. We have a great screenshot of Yen Sid, the Sorcerer, rendered in engine. If you actually go to Wired.com and search for Fantasia Music Evolved, Chris Kohler did a great piece last Monday before the press briefings about what it means to have classical music and to connect to that franchise and who the team is here making it. They're the team you've seen before. It's Daniel Sussman, who was the project director on Rock Band 3. It's Matt Bach, who's the project director of the Dance Central franchise. It's these guys who've made big games that you know and love and know Harmonix for, working together with a team of over 100 devs who are like amazing. Like, they're inventing new ways to play music with a motion camera. I don't think anyone else in the world could even attempt this, let alone succeed at it. So.
And that's one of the best pieces of feedback that I got from the demos, where people were like, this is 100% not at all what I expected from Harmonix, but now that we've seen it, we can't imagine anyone else doing it, which was really awesome.
So we're tooting our own horn a little bit, but hopefully we get to be a little proud after working 2.5 years and making a thing that's really risky and scary and super ambitious. So hopefully you think it looks good for what it is now, and or at least give it the benefit of the doubt that we're going to keep making it better and better and give you the gameplay you want. We'd love your feedback. Obviously, if you tweet at us at Fantasia Game on Twitter or go to facebook.com/Fantasia Game. We're actually, I think, going to try to post this stream in its entirety to YouTube, and maybe we'll upload that to the social channels too. But send us your thoughts on songs you want to see. Tell your friends about Fantasia. Make the whole screen go gray. Do whatever you want.
But keep in mind, all that feedback's going to Anette, who is awesome. If it was just us, your feedback could be as lousy as you wanted. But keep in mind that there is
a nice person
a real human
with
being,
feelings
and a nice one too.
And emotions, like you. And if I came to your house and yelled things at you, you wouldn't like it. So be nice. And again, if you saw the trailer and weren't sure the game was for you, hopefully some of the gameplay we've shown today makes you feel a little bit better that Harmonix is making a video game that speaks to a video gamer who loves music games or motion games or colorful worlds that are creative and immersive, like Fez or Journey. We're trying to really be we're trying to be artistic as we make a project that is super broad and appeals to a lot of people, and that's the thing that Fantasia was, right? It was a film that was artistic and amazingly creative and pushed the boundaries of its time, but also was meant to be, the most successful VHS tape of all time. It was meant to be like a film that ran in theaters forever. We're trying to balance those things out. Hopefully you like it. We're going to be back here every Monday at 6 o'clock. Hopefully we'll be showing you new stuff from Fantasia. We'll be interviewing devs. We'll be showing you new songs as they come online. We'll be revealing things on the stream. And we'll still be playing Dance Central and Rock Band.
Yep.
We'll be talking to everyone about their favorite catalog stuff, showing you great vintage songs that you can still dust off and play on Xbox 360, PlayStation Network, and Wii.
I had people asking earlier if we were going to do an Octodad run through.
We should at some point, actually. We love Octodad. Those are our...
in the chat.
Are they? Hey, Phil Tibbs. P.
Shout
Tibbs.
out to Phil.
What's Phil Tibbs'
Octodad.
handle on Twitter? Is it at P. Tibbs?
P-tips.
At PTIBZ. Our friend P. Tibbs is I believe his title is president and community manager at Young Horses in Chicago. Small independent studio in Chicago. One of my games of the show at E3 this year, alongside big games like Titanfall and
Even bigger games like Dive Kick.
Even bigger games like Dive Kick. It's a small independent studio making a cool little game. I actually backed it on Kickstarter a long time ago. Now it's officially announced it's coming to PlayStation Network. So check out their trailer too. Those are really good, cool dudes, and we want to support other indie devs making games. Whether you're an indie dev like us, where you're 300 people, and indie dev like Respawn, where you're a couple hundred people making a huge shooter for EA and Xbox, or whether you're an indie dev like Young Horses and you're making like a 7-person team or 6-person team.
Supergiant games with 9 dudes.
Well, Supergiant's big time. They're on stage
Wow.
at the press briefing like Octodad is, so whatever. I guess we're not that big time. But no matter what kind of game you're making, if you're making a cool game that you feel passionate about, you're part of the games community that we care about, and hopefully you guys feel like that Fantasia, even though it's being put out by one of the biggest media companies in the world, still feels at its heart like it's a game that's created for people who love video games and love animation and art, and that's what we are as a studio. So big shout out to those guys at Young Horses. They are the best. And big shout out to all the Harmonix devs who maybe have not gotten the praise they deserve. Hopefully you like the game. Go check out the walkthroughs on Giant Bomb. The Polygon article is really great. The Wired piece from Monday. Some really good write-ups about what this game is, with interviews from people like Daniel, Chris Nichols, our executive producer at Disney, Matt Bach. You may even see me pop up once in a while. If you want to watch a really stupid interview, go watch me and John Binyaki talking about Disney Infinity on Giant Bomb. It is the dumbest. Overall, we're just trying to have and that one's not safe for work. We say a lot of bad words in that one. But overall, it's been a really, really fun 2 weeks since we announced this game.
2 weeks, Jesus.
That was like 10 days ago. It's been a whirlwind at E3. Thanks so much to all of our friends who came out and saw the game at the show.
Yeah.
People who said really nice things about us on Twitter. Tell your friends if you think this game is cool. We really want to make sure that the community out there knows that we're making a cool game that is for them. And we need your help because we're just, it's like there's like 5 or 6 of us at Harmonix who bust on the publishing and marketing front. And we're really proud of it. So hopefully you guys like what you saw. Tweet at us with @FantasiaGame or #JazzClams on Twitter. And let people know to tune in the stream. We'll put a YouTube link up later today from Fantasia Game on Twitter and hopefully on our Facebook page, so you can actually check it out and tell your friends to go watch our silly butts try to talk about this game as it crashes. We'll be back next week at 6 o'clock. You can always ask us questions on Twitter @Harmonix. And I'm John Drake. That's Aaron Treitz. Big ups to Annette for steering. Be nice to her on Twitter. And for Eric Pope for directing and producing, and Joe Kelly on audio for the stream. And our friends at Twitch TV for promoting us. Thanks, Jared. You guys are the best. We'll be back next week, 6 o'clock on Mondays. See you then. Goodbye.